bottom. Daybreak is basically dual sight on the side because now it's going to be left versus right. I mean, this map, we're probably going to see more of the same. Thorzain's just going to be able to sit and do exactly what he did last game, and we'll see if Sheth utilizes that Ling map control in the mid to late game like he did last match, or goes for something more Mutalisk heavy.
Yeah, we can see a lot of different variations on this map. Something to note about this map compared to the last one is it's much bigger, there's a lot more bases to take, and for that reason, Thorzain may not be able to deny every base, whereas last game, he knew exactly which base Sheth had to take, so he was always able to just kind of have a dropship nearby. But if we have a similar situation to last game, Sheth can take a lot more bases and get away with it. Thorzain won't be able to deny. If he does deny, he's going to have to try a lot harder to do so.
Yeah. And once again, Thorzain doing the same exact building placement. Now, Wolf, do you know why he puts his racks back here? Is it to deny the drone from coming in?
That's a good question. I actually, there's a reason why players do things like this. Sometimes if the drone wants to come up, you may not see the barracks right away. That may tip him off. It may make him think there's a fast command center coming down, so you may send the drone down to the natural or something like that. But that's not really the reason, I don't think. I think he just wants to minimize the time spent away from the minerals.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say. I mean, that's basically the only real reason. It's just a stylistic choice by Thorzain.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't much matter because as soon as that first Marine comes out, he will, of course, pick that racks up and go over and wall off his main base eventually after throwing down the factory as well. Here comes the drone for Sheth, as it will, in fact, see all that jazz we were just talking about. Meanwhile, for Sheth, he does have his first hatch coming down. It was a 15 hatch, and the gas and pool are come down as well. So pretty much the same opener that we saw from last game from both these players.
Yep, and he does actually take the drone out. Nice micro by Thorzain. Yeah, it's just something to note. It's kind of weird that he was able to take that drone out because now Sheth, he was able to see a little bit, but it's not quite certain what's up. Like, he doesn't know if it's going to be a faster command center or it's going to be a normally timed factory like we saw. It's kind of up in the air.
And I mean, I would suspect, in this matchup, if you see a Terran not going for that reactor Hellion opening, then chances are he's probably doing it wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's just such a standard, such a good way to open. You get early map control. You can put some pressure on your opponent. There's so many ways to do it. The build itself, like we saw last game, Thorzain stopped at 2 Hellions. You can go more than that. You can put on a ton of pressure. You can sit right outside your opponent's base and deny any map control that he has and follow it up with Banshee play. It's such a smart opener because there's so many branching ways that you can really do so many different things.
Yeah, and you can see right now, we're going to see what choice Thorzain has made. He's going for a fast third command center, and that's a choice that you can make with this build as well. It's fairly risky. The roach pressure type of builds that you can see sometimes can really punish this very, very hard, but it's a risky choice by Thorzain. He's up a game, and I like it for this map. It's a really, really strong choice. Getting that faster third orbital, getting those extra SCVs out is something that's really going to be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Last game we saw Sheth actually go for a pretty early third base on dual side. We will see if he does it again here in just a couple minutes. He does have his spine crawler going up, which of course is just so needed against those Hellions regardless of how many come out. And we'll see if he makes any roaches. Last game he really didn't have the roaches early on as he used the huge amount of lings in the opening of the match to sit on that Xel'Naga tower denying the 2 Hellions. But Hellions are out and it looks like he's actually continuing to produce more.
Yeah, and something to note about Sheth this time is they did stop mining gas literally at 100, so he's just got the Zergling speed research. He's been getting drones out only, and he's probably going to, think about pushing out with a smaller Ling force to deal with those Hellions fairly soon, but until he has to, he's just going to continue to drone up, and I like that choice by him. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a second barracks for Thorzain. He's built a tech lab with his verse, and he's probably going to start stim and combat shields together with those double tech labs.
And, that's something that I haven't really seen too many Terran players do. It's very, very smart to get that tech lab. Whoa, it looks like he might lift the factory onto that other tech lab as the racks now is going straight over that reactor, which is typically what I've seen. So there's stem startup, there's the old switcheroo. Building placements like this are kind of, I almost feel stylistic between Terran to Terran.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And something to note about what Thorzain is doing here is he needs to get that siege mode out. He feels that there's a possibility that roach pressure could come, and he's going to need tanks out to help deal with that. If it's one of those roach baneling attacks, for example, if he just has a few Marines out, he's trying to get stim and combat shields, he doesn't have any tanks, he just has a few Hellions, he won't hold that. He might even die. So He knows he's got that faster third command center, needs to get some tanks out to be defensive. He's putting a lot of pressure on with these Hellions, but Sheth is just on top of things. He has the Spinecrawler positioned in the right place. He's got his Queen ready, even has a few Zerglings, and his Evolution Chambers are in a pretty cool spot as well, so he's totally ready for this.
Looks like Sheth will be going for that Infestor Ling play here, as he is already getting the +1/+1 upgrades for his Lings. Throwing down the macro hatch, still does not have a lair though yet, but he is mining from 4 gas at this point. And is he going to be able to catch these Hellions off? No, they are going to be able to make quick work of those Lings. That is just way too many Hellions to be able, or for those Lings to be able to deal with in their small numbers. Yeah,
it's kind of a gamble. A lot of Zerg players like to kind of roll the dice with this, because if your opponent's not paying attention, then yeah, you kill the Hellions, but if your opponent is paying attention, you lose so many Zerglings. A Zergling does come up and scout Thorzain's composition. He sees the tank here, so he's going to kind of know what Thorzain is up to, but he still doesn't quite know about the third command center as far as I know. He does have an Overlord in position, but he can't see it, and there's no real way for him to tell his third command center there, but he is going to go ahead and start taking his 30s, even spreading his creep very aggressively in that direction with his Queen now.
And with these Hellions, I mean, the only thing that Sheth has to be worried about is the 6 Hellions right now poking at that hatchery. It's going to take them forever to really kill it. So he could pretty much expand like this and really get away with it, especially if he puts down a Spinecrawler, even though he doesn't really need to with all these Lings here. So lair about halfway complete, Baneling Nest about halfway complete as well. And whoa, Thorzain is actually going to take the refinery with the rich Vespian here, but it does have the fewer mineral fields, so he's going to be going very gas heavy, possibly adding in a lot more tanks to his play.
Yeah, and not only does he get that extra gas, but he basically has a base that's closer to his opponent in some ways, so that's a little bit easier for him to defend against run-bys than to take the bottom right base. So I kind of like that. Notice that Sheth is moving this huge Zergling force around. He's desperately trying to catch those Hellions because he knows that's kind of a threat for him at any moment. He could get backstabbed. And something I like about Sheth's play is here, sometimes you see people kind of sort of spread their creep towards that third base, but they still, you know, just halt their creep spread because of the Hellions. But in this case, he aggressively spread it towards that hatchery instead of trying to push it down because he knows the Hellions are there to deny it. So he's using that extra Queen completely, and his creep spread has been pushed pretty quickly around the left side.
Sheth looking like he might want to take a 4th base here as the Lings go in and scout it out. Still seeing only the Hellions here in the center of the map. What is he up to here? Is he going to go for a big Ling run by up here in the north?
Yeah, it's possible he could do that. He could make a bunch of Banelings and use those as well, but it seems like he's trying to be aggressive with these Lings in some way, but he's a little bit indecisive about it. He can't quite decide exactly what it is he wants to do with them. I think he may also just be trying to catch these Hellions off guard, but the Hellions have just been sitting on the watchtower the whole time. Thorzain sees that huge Link out and pulls back, smartly so.
And once again, another command center going down for Thorzain here in the center of the map. And oh, is he going to be able to catch these Hellions off? No, Thorzain pulls him back just in time.
Yeah, it's such a gamble to try to attack those Hellions, and every time Thorzain is on top of it, he's not going to lose those Hellions to Zerglings. He never will, and Sheth has thrown away quite a few units to that.
So right now we see a drop about to occur as 2 Marines are right behind it. They are going to be able to kill this Overlord, possibly. He might need another stim to do so, but this drop has been seen. The Lings are coming in, and it should be easily cleaned up.
Yeah, he's going to clean this one up, no problem. A few Marines will go down. He may actually be able to catch this Overlord with the drop, but that is about all he's going to get. Thorzain is just sticking with this very systematic style. Every single game, he takes a command center, he sieges up there, defends. If an attack comes, he defends. If attack doesn't come, he unsieges and moves out as he sends his 3rd command center over, then his 4th command center, then his 5th command center. He just patiently takes a base, defends it, mines there for a while, then makes another one. And Sheth is going to have to eventually deal with this. He's taking his own 4th base right now, but it's a little bit behind. Thorzain's going to land his right away, and he still has a very large forces coming out here. He's ahead, 30 supply.
You know, I would not be surprised if in this next game, as this is a best of 5, so we got to have 3 wins, if he just switches up his style completely, because, I mean, here we are in game 2. In game 1, this style was really pretty much negated by exactly what Thorzain's doing now, but now Sheth is going to go for a big counterattack. There are still some forces left, but he can easily pull back with his small forces here that he was going for as kind of an aggressive maneuver and clean these Lings up.
Yeah, he's going to clean this up really well. There are some Infestors. The Fungals, though, were not the best. He may catch these SCVs. Oh, nice. That's what he needed. He's going to get a ton of SCVs here.
And he does indeed do so. So the tank's actually a little bit farther back, so that attack was pretty good there for Sheth. He was able to clean up a ton of SCV kills, really put the economy on equal footing, at least Zerg equal footing, where you really want to always try to be one base ahead.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And he saved the infestors. If he had lost the infestors,
right,
a bad trade for him, but now he's still got those infestors in the mix. And he's down on supply, but he's doing okay. He's did what he needed to do in that battle. Now, Thorzain does have a pretty huge army supply lead, though, 100 to 57 in that department. And if he moves out and catches these infestors off guard, or if he gets a few stem marines in to target some of those infestors down, I think Sheth could be in trouble. The question is, will Thorzain move out, or will he continue to do that Spoon Terran style? If he sticks back and doesn't attack for a little bit longer, it actually gives Sheth the opportunity to kind of push his way back into this game.
Now, the style that Thorzain is doing is a style that's basically catered to exactly this map because of getting that rich Vespian Geyser so early on. Just look at the tank numbers that he has. There is no way that Sheth is going to be able to really engage that whatsoever, and he can do these marine drops that it looks like he's setting up to do right now. 3 full medevacs, 1 going up to the north, and the other 2 probably going to go into the main. Overlords are ready for Sheth to be able to scout that, but at this point, oh, he's actually going for a drop now. The 4 Fester hit squad here up in the north is about to go in. We'll see how well that can do.
Yeah, that could potentially do a lot of damage. Ooh, look at this. In the main base, double Ghost Academies going down. Good upgrades, but also cloak, you know, perhaps nukes coming out. This drop is going to scout it, though.
And here comes the drop landing right on top. There are 2 Overlords right behind it with 8lings in each. One of the infestors is stuck behind the Ghost Academy. There's a fungal as well, some infested Terrans going down. And what is coming back to deal with this? We have some Thors here in the main base, but at the moment they're really going to have to... Oh, that one Overlord goes down, loses all 8lings. And ooh, he's actually close to losing that other Overlord. But, you know, this attack, sure, it stopped mining, but when you only have very low minerals there, Thorzain's attack here really is not dealing all that much damage.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised he committed to it so much. He was able to kill a decent amount of SCVs, I guess, but losing all of those infestors just, I don't think, was worth it. He even lost the Zerglings as well. He did delay the Ghost Academy, so that's something else to note, but I just don't find that drop to be very significant. I like that Sheth is finally getting that burrow upgrade, because not only can he use that for Baneling traps, but he can also escape with his infestors in several different scenarios, which so far he hasn't been able to do. He's going to do a run by down here at the bottom right as well, but Thorzain, I mean, he is the Spoon Terran. He does not have very many weaknesses. He's got a planetary there. He's got such a great wall set up everywhere the Lings try to go.
The other thing, too, in that kind of 4 Fester hit squad shenanigans going on in the main base of Thorzain, over in Sheth's main base, we saw that drop occur, and he was able to take out the Queens, but no tech structures, as far as I can tell, were eliminated. Possibly a Roach Warren, as I do not see that. So, yeah, a Roach Warren, you know, at this stage of the game, not the biggest deal tech-wise to really lose.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Notice, again, that Sheth has caught up in supply because he's been given so much time. Thorzain wasn't really moving out. He did do some harassment. We're going to see a small run by here, but again, Thorzain just has enough in play to defend this. He's going to lose a few Hellions, not even losing any siege tanks, and Thorzain, with his defense, he's just winning every trade because he has the defender's advantage, and Sheth is just kind of throwing away units here and there, trying to find something. But what else should Sheth do? I mean, he can't just sit back and do nothing. He is getting a Greater Spire. He's already got the Corruptors out. He's gotten a few Ultralists out as well, but he needs to find out how to engage. He, I think, should take one more base, perhaps the base where that Viking is kind of hovering in the center, and wait for Thorzain a little bit more because he needs to get that bank that he didn't have last game.
Here's something you don't see every day. There is a medevac with a Thor in it up in the very center north of the map. Looks like he does want to go for a drop with that. It can eliminate hatcheries very, very quickly, but that Overlord did scout it. We'll see if Sheth is going to be ready for that. Ultras now are out on the map. We have 3-3 upgrades for the melee units. That is very, very good. And now Thorzain is kind of posturing his army to be able to deal with this. He does have a handful of Marauders out. They are 3-3. So we might see a big fight here as that Thor is about to drop.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like what he's doing here. He's even getting building armor right now. He's getting +1 ship weapons. He's getting +2 weapons for siege tanks. He's basically got everything that you would ever want. And notice that Sheth is getting +1 for his Roaches and getting Carapace for Broodlords. Those are some interesting upgrades for him to be getting at this stage in the game. We see, again, the double Spire. He's getting that the +2 air weapons as well. The Thor drop, not very effective, but it was worth the shot.
Now it's got to run for its life as the Corruptors are doing their best What was the name of that thing from the Matrix? That's what I
Uh,
always compare it to that. I don't remember.
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what it's called though.
That's exactly what they look like, and they're going to be taking out that medevac, and that Thor will fall there. Sentinels, says the producer. I believe he is correct. So another drop down here in the main base of Sheth, as some Vikings are coming in to deal with those scouting overlords. This drop will be cleaned up, but it's almost comical to see all these drops occur. And then you go look at the third and fourth base of Thorzain, and nothing is actually moving. He's just sitting there so confident that Sheth will never be able to engage that.
Yeah, something I want to note about Thorzain is that he's still got so many SCVs in his main base. He's not as saturated as he could be at all of his bases. But I like that the base that he has the least saturation on is the one that has the least mineral patches. So it looks like he's trying to manage his economy a little bit there. But like you're saying, yeah, not a whole lot's going on there. He's just got so many siege tanks set up. He's got sensor towers. So Sheth is never going to feel comfortable to attack. It looks like Sheth is going to go for that very attack now, though, waiting until the last second to pass into the sensor tower. He may be able to take out this planetary, but he's going to lose so much in the process.
Yeah, and here come all the rings going down. A lot of rings on the planetary fortress. The Ultra's taking the brunt of the damage from those siege tanks. Some great bungles coming out, but the infestors just get mutilated there by those siege tanks. Only three remain, and that attack did nothing.
It basically did not. He didn't even kill the planetary. Remember, the planetary has building armor, so it was even harder to take it out than usually. He's chasing Corruptors with Vikings. The Corruptors can't easily turn and fight because there's so many Marines for them to engage with. He does finally catch the Vikings, though. A pretty big win there for Sheth, and the supply still remains even.
27 Corruptors in production right now for Sheth.
When this happens, sometimes we have one of those air battle situations where the battle no longer becomes about the ground, it becomes about the air. And if he can get those Corruptors out and make a small Broodlord force and kind of push around the map with that, he may be able to take out a few bases, because if you have that many Corruptors, the Vikings are no longer going to be able to be used, and if you can just use the Broodlords, even a small number of them, to kind of push things back, if you position them correctly, it can work out quite nicely.
Now we've got two Thors being produced, two Vikings. Thorzain's really gonna have to step up his Viking production here to be able to deal with this. I mean, he does have the Marines and the Ghosts. Still no nukes coming into play just yet. Only 4 Broodlords being produced, but already have 5 out on the field. A scan coming in, and let's see if Thorzain decides to move or just do this very, very passive play that we've seen all game.
Yeah, that is basically the main question here. Something to note. See, Thorzain knows what's up, man. Look at that production tab. He's getting +3. He's getting the reactor as well as the Seeker missile. He knows he's going to need Ravens. He knows this battle is now all about the air. He's been in this situation before. 7 Vikings at a time being produced here for Thorzain, and this game is going to get a lot more interesting, and it may go on for a lot longer, because this is the type of battle where neither player wants to engage, because one wrong move can mean the end of the game.
You know, it's kind of comical, because in TVTs, when you start to see a lot of air for each player, you start to groan and moan, because TVT in that style, it's only exciting till at the very end of it. The lead up to it is not fun at all. But in this matchup, I'm super excited to see how this is really going to unfold, because I've never actually seen it like this. If we start to see some huge Seeker missiles land, that's going to be incredible stuff, as we see 3 Ravens now coming out for Thorzain.
You know, this oftentimes happens in Foreigner versus Foreigner games, and it's not 100% sure why this happens. I feel like maybe Foreigners are not as comfortable ending the game. They feel a little bit more patient. They're a little bit more passive. But this always seems to be the late game composition in this matchup. 2 Ghosts are cloaked, and they're going to try to come in here and target down some Infestors. 1 Ghost does get taken out. Thorzain tried to kind of edge his way through here, because even though he has the Seeker missile, he knows his opponent has those Infestors, and if he gets clumped up too much, if he gets fungled, he's going to lose the air battle very quickly.
This looks like the last mission for the campaign, as there's just Corruptors on patrol in almost every area. You can't really do any drops. Small forces here coming out for the Zerg player every now and then. We're in for a very, very long haul here. Look at how many Broodlords he currently possesses. 14 with 25 Corruptors. And those Ravens are going to be popping. Yeah, the upgrades are incredible too. 3-3 about to finish.
Yeah, and that's something he's going to have over Thorzain, who has no armor upgrades whatsoever for his air units. I like that Thorzain is kind of stimming small forces to kill tumors. Oh, he's going to get his first glimpse of how many Corruptors there are exactly. He may try to bait him into a Seeker missile here. Nice splitting, even using some snipes.
And this is getting So many Ravens out right now. They don't have enough energy just yet for those. Well, some of them do, but a lot of them don't. So we see the Queens are even getting into this. Of course, transfusion on the Broodlords will help so much.
Yeah.
But it's really going to come down to how well Sheth can position his army. Because if those Hunter missiles are able to connect, they're going to deal a huge amount of damage.
Notice 4 command centers are finishing up for Thorzain as well. He's going to add a bunch of orbitals. He's finally starting that plating for his ships. That's going to be something that's really important for him here. The Queens have such a large range. They're going to be not only useful for transfuses, but also just adding in some extra DPS. This is a really tough position for Thorzain, I feel, because even though he has the Seeker missiles, that is so easy to dodge if you're on top of things. And Sheth could potentially just avoid this entire army, go towards the south. He's spreading his creep really well right now. I feel like Thorzain's almost at his mercy.
And here we go. The attack has started. Those are very clumped units. Here come the Ravens. Are the Hunters? They do go out, but they're so close. They need one. Or no, there's a big one hit. Takes out so many of the Broodlords. And this attack right now, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like Thorzain is just demolishing right now. Is so many of those air units just got destroyed by those Hunter Seeker missiles.
Yeah, the Hunter Seeker missiles did a ton of damage, but not only that, the Infestors took a ton of hits from the siege tanks that are on the ground. I feel like Sheth overextended himself too much. And now, even though he has worse upgrades on his air, Thorzain is just crushing through here. This one Thor with +3 is going to fight some Spine Crawlers. You can see he's taken a little bit of a lead here. It's up now 30 supply. And with all the extra orbitals he has, he's got a great economy. Both players, though, fairly even on the bank. Thorzain, though, has a little bit more gas.
Now, if you guys are just joining us, you can see we're about 31 minutes into this game. This is game 2 between these two players. Thorzain taking the first map on dual side. It is a best of 5. And coming up right after this is our title fight, which is going to be seeing MKP going up against Oz. So a ton of great matches ahead, regardless of how far the series really goes.
Well, look at this. JP's going to target down a Viking or two, gets out without losing any corruptors. Sheth needs to do little things like this. He has to be so careful. If he reacts, like I said, immediately, he should not get hit by any Seeker missiles with his corruptors. But right now, neither players are really able to do a whole lot. Neither one can move forward without the fear of being fungled or being Hunter Seeker missiled. And the question is, should Sheth try to make a bunch of Zerglings and go for a drop at this point? Should he try to send some Broodlords to the north? I don't think so. That's too risky. What if he gets caught? It's a hard choice to make, but Sheth is finally taking that base up to the north. He's moving a bunch of spines over there as well, and that's going to be so important for him because with that extra money, he can finally rebuild his army because look at the bank. It's 4,000 to 400 basically as far as money goes.
And here come the Broodlords trying to find an entry point, but they will find, they won't find it actually. They'll just find the Vikings and those Ravens. And now the Corruptors coming in, trying to get some attacks, but they will have to fall back. It's pretty funny because Thorzain has actually gone on the record and said that in this matchup, he is so fearful and never really knows exactly when to move out, as now those spine crawlers actually had to fall back, and a couple of Marauders are going to clean up that hatchery up in the north. But I think that's what we're seeing here. You know, he is so afraid of really committing to this attack that he's just being so passive about it. Now he's just going to use these siege tanks on the very outer rim, and really will never actually push into this big attack. And it's the smart move, I gotta say.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he's the Spoon Terran. He's doing some very Spoon Terran things here. The Thors, with their huge range, are hitting a ton of Corruptors here. The Ghost getting some snipes. Where are the Infestors? They're too far away. He can't close the distance to them. Even if he did, he probably wouldn't be able to get very many hits off. Should he research Neural Parasite? Should he try? Neural Parasite actually just opened the production tab, is actually being researched now. Should he try to neural some of these Ravens and use them against his opponent? Perhaps neural some of these siege tanks. He needs to eliminate one of the two. He will never be able to approach Thorzain's army, and Thorzain is very, very happy to trade right now with armies with how much money he has and how many hatcheries he's behind.
And it looks like Thorzain has decided it's time to move forward about an inch. Might not be the biggest thing, but it actually is, because Thorzain really hasn't moved in the past 10 minutes. And it looks like Sheth is kind of giving up on that base, pulling everything back, and knows that it's about to fall. Look at how many ghosts Thorzain currently possesses. He has 16 out on the map with 6 Ravens right behind him, and that base is being abandoned.
Yep, he even took out some Infestors with the Seeker Missile, and this is not looking good for Sheth. He is just not really mining right now. He's going to lose this base. Like I mentioned earlier, he lost the base at the north. He's finally cleaned out the push. He's going for a huge Zergling counterattack here. The depots are raised, though, and all it's going to take is Thorzain sending some of his units back. He's going to send a ton of his units back. In fact, he's sending everything back, but since he's killed this Hatcher, all he has to do is clean up these Zerglings and then go kill Sheth's base one more time. And basically, as far as economy goes, Sheth is in checkmate. He can never take another base.
Got 2 nukes that just now finished. I can't wait to see if those come into play here. The remaining links are going to get picked up by that planetary fortress. And Willie's actually going to be able to take out one of the orbitals there, as Thorzain is not moving in just yet. The links finally being cleaned up. And right now, if you go look over at the the fourth base of Sheth, he has a ton of stuff here, but it's 171 to 181. Bunch of links coming out now, and I'm not sure if Sheth can really do anything. You know, army composition right now for Thorzain is basically the money composition in the late game.
It's basically unbeatable, and he does not have the economy that Thorzain has. If Thorzain moves over and takes control of where that hatchery is, he is going to be basically in an unlosable position. Now, the drones are spotted by these ghosts. They're cloaked. Will he go for a nuke? He does have 2 available, as you mentioned earlier, or will he just kind of sit back? It looks like he's going to start nuking, perhaps. He's actually going to find that his opponent's army is no longer at that location.
And
he sees it now.
Yeah.
He's scanning it.
Is he? Oh, there's the Overseer. Really
he's just he's attacking from 2 sides of the Ghost. I think he's trying to find a place where he can maybe nuke his opponent's army. Oh man, this army is so clumped up for Sheth. I feel like Sheth right now has no idea what to do. He's gonna lose a lot of Brood Lords.
The Hunter Seeker missiles, one of 2 of them get off. They're gonna be able to connect. They will not kill them, but the Vikings obliterating those Corruptors, and Sheth just falling more and more behind.
Yeah,
the Ghost over here.
That hatchery, Thorzain just kind of outdoing Sheth in every way at this point. I mean, this game has gone on for 40 minutes, but I don't think it's going to go on much longer. This Ghost Siege Tank Viking Raven Thor army is moving in to kill the final hatchery of Sheth that he's trying to build, and even though the Ghosts of the north one are cleaned up, he can very easily take out that base. He's going to probably get his forces together and attack it. Sheth going for a huge Zergling counterattack, though.
And he will be able to clean up. Well, and there's the lift finally at the very last second. But they will not be able to go any further into that main base as 2 tanks do remain up there. And now Sheth has got another base set up, but it's only a matter of time. This army of Thorzain is just completely ridiculous.
Thorzain's starting to set up base at the base he killed at the south without even letting the creep proceed, man. He is I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He is the Spoon Terran. He will not end the game. He will just continue to take bases until his opponent GG's. Right now, Viking count is at 20. There are only 4 Ravens out, but there are 14 Ghosts, and remember those 2 nukes are still in play.
And Thorzain has decided to move up here. He is pretty clumped up, so some fungals could definitely deal a ton of damage. But well, it looks like he's just toying with me, as now he's finally he's scanned it so much and he just can't decide if he wants to do it. Looks like he's setting up his tanks there on the edge and spreading out his army. And here we go in, guys, as the nukes are actually coming into play this time. Uh-oh, are they gonna land? Oh, and the Broodlord, oh, okay, here it is.
Oh my god, this could change everything. The Broodlords do escape, but the Spines will definitely go down.
Gives his own Vikings, though.
Yeah, that was a bit of a blunder there, but everything for Thorzain is pretty much okay at this point. He lost about 7 Vikings to his own nuke, but he damaged the Spines. The creep has receded a little bit more. And, I mean, Sheth can hope for a lucky Neural on a Raven, but his Corruptors are flying into missile turrets at this point, JP.
Yeah. And he has not rebuilt those nukes yet, doesn't actually have any remaining. You see the Spine Crawlers being rebuilt. Broodlord's doing their best to chip in some damage here, killing a bunch of the Marines with that splash damage. But Thorzain, I mean, this is the story that we've seen all game long. When your opponent is using Ghost to snipe or try to kill Spine Crawlers as he gets one of the Ravens there, it really kind of it's demoralizing in a sense. Like, Sheth has no answer to this. I don't even know what the answer is to this.
I don't think there is an answer to this. The answer to this is don't let your opponent get this far ahead of you in composition. A nice fungal hits some of these Vikings, but I just don't think this is enough. It looks like Thorzain is finally going to end things here, dropping all sorts of tech with those Ravens. The Zerling's not even really able to close the distance. The Ghost doing a ton of damage. Look at the supply fall. Looks like Thorzain is finally going to end this game.
Yeah, and there are the Mana Mules dropping as well, just waiting for the GG here. 74 supply to 189 as the hatchery finally falls. Drone's going to fall right with it. Thorzain, this is basically Spoon Terran's end game. If he doesn't make you GG earlier, this is what you have to deal with. There's the good game from Sheth, and I mean, that match, Thorzain just looks so in control the entire time.
Yeah, he absolutely did. I mean, like you said, this is the definition of the Spoon Terran. Like, if there was like a Wikipedia article about Spoon Terran, this video would be attached to.
Yeah.
I really think that this style that we saw from Thorzain is very unique to him, and it's not
Right.
something you see in Korea very often. But it looks like he knows exactly how to transition from all steps of the game. He's very systematic with how he makes a command snare, defends it, makes another command snare. Eventually, now he's got all the upgrades. He just kind of builds a composition that his opponent cannot handle.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Thorzain is now up 2-0 in this best of 5. Our next map is going to be MLG Dream Altar, but we got to cut to a quick commercial break. When we come back, game 3 will be going down.